trunk, I open up, I sold my soul a good price, out of sight. My hoe got talent, right? Whole squad ran, do that shit, yikes.
So got my LOJ conversions parts in. So I got these motor mounts, got billet aluminum to mild steel. It came with nice bolts. Everything came with hardware, which is really nice. I like that a lot. We've got some lock washers and some normal nuts in there, or not nuts, bolts. We got our nice fine oil pan right here. So it is a front sump, so the sump's in the front. We got a different pickup tube to move to the front sump. I'm going to have to take something and clean off the surface, because it looks like they painted it and then set it on the mating surface, and it took some of the paint off. So I just want to strip it of the paint, get it down to clean metal, and then, oh yeah, the gasket's in my truck, so I just gotta go grab that. I'm gonna pop this one off quick. There shouldn't be any oil left in it. I let it drain for a couple hours the other day. I just let it sit and drain. So I'm gonna start ripping that off. I gotta put some gloves on first. It's a little grimy. I tried to pressure wash it and degrease it, but it just didn't take everything off. Just a quick comparison on the pickup tubes. So this has a bigger, fatter pickup grate, and this one has a smaller one, and it looks like it's only a slit. I didn't even notice that before. But then this one, the whole bottom face is open. It's gonna have a slightly different mounting location because it's gonna be sitting like that instead of all the way around, because in the pan it'll come in and sit just like that. So I'm gonna get to putting that in, and then I'll clean up the mating surfaces, slap the gasket on it, and suck her up. So I'm gonna get to that. Just got the pickup tube in. So it mounts here, and then there's a second mount up here. I don't know if you'll be able to see it or not because I don't have my light on me, but I'm gonna have to put this nut and a nut on the other side on, because those were hold downs for the old pickup tube. This right here, this dipstick, it's going to be coming out. I need to just get both hands on it. So I'm gonna clean up the surfaces. Oh, one other thing. When you're putting this in, there is an O-ring on the top of this to seal any oil, so no dirty oil gets in there. Got everything cleaned up. Got most of it off. Some of the stuff is just in there, and I didn't feel like making it perfect. It doesn't need to be perfect. But I got the engine mating surface all done up. Now if you get it from LOJ Conversions, your oil pan, it's gonna come with this little piece right here. It looks like a freeze plug that would go, where are the freeze plugs on this thing? Okay, so there's a freeze plug, but obviously this is a lot smaller. So I was thinking to myself, I was like, what could this be for? Like, I really was stumped on it for a while until I pulled the stock dipstick out. There's a big old hole, and that seems to fit in there very nicely. So I'm gonna go get a punch. I'm gonna punch that in, and then I'll show you guys that after. And after that, I'm putting the pan up So this is going along pretty quickly. It's nice. So the pan and mounts are on. They're not, the pan's torqued. I torqued the pan. Engine mounts I'm not torquing just because I'm gonna be setting it in there just so I can make the harness to custom lengths. So I'm not gonna go crazy and torque everything down because I might need to take it off so I can paint it, paint the engine, or I don't know, anything. Any reason I would have to pull it out again. So I'm taking the main mount nuts off so I can set it right in the cradle. I'm not gonna put my dipstick in just yet. I'm gonna wait to do that. I might do that when it's in the car, just so I don't mess anything up for right now, because this is just provisionary. So I'm gonna start getting this thing in. So I jumped ahead a little bit on you guys. I went ahead and I shortened and lengthened all of the wires. And when the guy in the post I read said I literally had to lengthen and shorten every wire, I didn't think he was actually telling the truth, but it's true. You have to do every single wire. Every single wire needs to be modified. But I not only shortened everything, but I also put it in the loom and I put it on the engine with the engine sitting in the bay. And for my first time ever wiring anything, I think it looks pretty clean. It doesn't need to be, you know, show car status because it's a drift car. I mean, some people make their drift cars show cars, but mine's not going to be anywhere near a show car. But got all this looming going through, and it's all tucked underneath the coil harness. I didn't touch the coil harnesses at all. So it's the same way on this side. Let me get my light quick, because for the alternator, the coolant temp, and a few other things, I went on the inside of the fuel rail. So I mean, it's not exactly where it'll be. It'll be, you know, mounted securely somewhere along there. It won't be flopping around in there like that. So on the other side of the harness, where all the wires come out, where all the wires come to, every single one is labeled with one of those zip tie labels that I have. I actually ordered another set of 160 of these labeling zip ties because they're so nice. I don't know what I would have done without them. I probably would have used like duct tape, but I like this because you can snip them off, make another one quick, and put it right back on if the tab does come off, because I've had one or two tabs break off so far, but it's not that big of a deal. They're $6 for 160 of them, so I like it. So I have it labeled on this side, and then I have the other half of the harness. I didn't cut the wheel speed sensor yet because I don't know what I want to do with it. This twisted pair wiring is very particular. You have to have a certain amount of twists in a certain distance of the wire. So I don't want to mess with that until I know I have to change it. If I don't have to, and if I can, you know, if it's too long and I can coil it up a little bit just to take up some of the slack, then that's probably what I'm gonna do. So I ordered the bulkhead connectors. I got 2 of them. I couldn't find any more than 47 pin, and I have 65, I think I counted 65 wires I have to go through the firewall, not including, you know, maybe the headlight wires and things like that. but all that stuff will be bigger than 20 gauge wire. These ones, you can either use a 20 gauge wire or I think it's 18. I think it's an 18 gauge wire pin. But they come with all the pins. You gotta pin the wires and then put the pins into the connectors. So that should be interesting. It should take a little while. Other than that, I think the wiring is pretty much done on the engine except for this sensor, which I have it labeled, so I know what it is on a list if I look at my list. But I know there's 2 wires that aren't in the harness yet. Oh, it might be this one? I don't know, whatever. But eventually everything will be in the harness. Everything will be in the looming. It'll look real nice and clean. I think what I'm gonna do for the bulkhead connectors is come right here and just like give it a loop and then go in. I'm either gonna drill holes here and here or keep these 2 and just drill them out. So I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with that yet. I'll get to it eventually. Alright guys, I'm heading out for the day. Got a decent amount done, did a lot of wiring. This wiring stuff really just does take a lot of time and a lot of patience. And if you don't have time and patience, then you might as well let somebody, send it out and let somebody do it themselves. But I think next video will be making drive over fenders and I don't know, maybe doing some other stuff around the shop. I gotta do a little bit of cleanup here and then I'm heading out. So, see you guys later.
Hey, pop the trunk, I open up, I sold my soul a good price, out of sight. My hoe got talent, right? Whole squad ran, do that shit, yikes.